Labrada's 4 tips to shred stubborn belly fat and get killer abs. Labrada revealed his methods for achieving abs. In this video, you'll learn your best strategy for minimizing fat in your belly while building up your muscles. Boasting aesthetics, class, and show-stopping muscle definition, Labrada still maintains an off-the-charts fitness level at 63. In his latest undertaking, Labrada offered fans 4 of his best tips for minimizing fat in your belly while building up lean muscle. In this video, you'll learn your best strategy for minimizing fat in your belly while building up your muscles. It's not like the old days where bodybuilders would eat anything that wasn't nailed down and end up putting on a lot of unwanted fat. Today, the emphasis is on putting on lean muscle with as little fat as possible. Bodybuilding veteran Labrada enjoyed a successful tenure as a men's open bodybuilder from the 1980s and 90s. Having tested his resolve against icons of the sport such as former 8-time Mr. Olympia Lee Haney, Rich Gaspari, and Shawn Ray, Labrada proved himself as a perennial contender, making the top 4 at the prestigious show for 7 years consecutively. While Lee continues to enjoy his retirement, that didn't stop his son, Hunter Labrada, from embarking on his own bodybuilding journey. In the span of a few years, Hunter has already placed as high as 4th on the Mr. Olympia stage and finished 6th at the 2023 and 2024 edition of the event. Now, Labrada is back to explain 4 of his most essential tips that not only shred unwanted belly fat, but also help with building a tighter core and midsection. Labrada's 4 tips to shred stubborn belly fat while building lean muscle for defined abs. Quick breakdown. Protein intake. 5 meals a day. Carb consumption. Daily cardio for fat loss. Tip number 1: protein intake. Labrada first underlined the importance of proper protein intake, which he explains should amount to 1 gram per pound of body fat. Consume the right amount of protein for your body weight plus enough carbs and fats for energy. Sounds simple enough, right? But what's the right amount of proteins and carbs? I recommend 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Sources of protein include chicken breast, turkey breast, fish, lean meats, low-fat cottage cheese, and protein shakes like Lean Body. For the carbohydrates, I recommend eating no more than 1.5 grams of carbohydrate per pound of body weight each day. Good sources of carbohydrates include sweet potatoes, yams, oatmeal, and rice. Tip number 2: 5 meals a day. Labrada said to stick with 5 meals a day with roughly 40 grams of protein and 60 grams of carbs at each helping. 5 meals per day, that works out to about 40 grams of protein plus 60 grams of complex carbohydrates at each meal. Of course, the math is going to be different depending on how much you weigh, said Labrada. Don't overeat at each meal. By breaking down your caloric intake over several small meals a day, you won't overload your digestive system or put on that unwanted fat as long as your calories don't exceed your caloric break-even. Smaller meals also have a smaller impact on insulin release. Insulin is a powerful hormone. While it's useful, excess insulin can cause fat storage. Tip number 3: carb consumption. Avoiding carbohydrates by themselves is another ideal way to avoid unnecessary insulin spikes, which could cause fat to accumulate in the body. Always combine protein and carbs at meals and never eat carbs by themselves. When protein and carbohydrates are combined, the rate at which the meal is broken down and converted down to energy is slowed down, and that yields longer-lasting energy with less of a rise in insulin. Carbohydrates eaten by themselves can cause a rapid increase in blood sugar, which could spike insulin, and you don't want that, adds Labrada. Tip number 4: daily cardio for fat loss. Lastly, while it may seem counterproductive to building lean muscle, Labrada swears by daily cardio for fat loss. Do cardio exercise 4 to 5 times a week to burn off excess fat and to promote recovery. Now, you know it may seem a little counterintuitive to do cardio at a time where you're trying to put on body weight, lean muscle tissue, but cardio has actually been shown to promote recovery by improving circulation. Additionally, cardio exercise helps to burn off excess calories that can lead to fat accumulation. I personally prefer the stationary bike or steps for cardio, said Labrada. I hope this gives you an idea of things you can do to minimize fat while building muscle. This is far from Labrada's first instructional video on building a leaner body. With the new year here, he recently went over how to sculpt a more toned set of abs with 3 key exercises. In addition, Labrada offered insight into shredding off unwanted fat around the chest. At 63 years young, Labrada has made it clear that bodybuilding is the closest thing to a fountain of youth. He encourages anyone watching his videos to try out his 4 tips and see if they help you carve out a more impressive midsection.